So to start off making this project, the materials that we're going to be needing are, I use this cotton yarn. I find the fabric to be really sturdy and good to make bags with. It's actually peaches and cream, and it's a size medium 4. See that? And it recommends a size 5mm crochet hook. So we have our 5mm crochet hook, and then we will also be needing a pair of scissors and a darning needle. All right, so let's get started. So to start off, we are first going to do a slip knot. And we're going to chain 41. Okay, once you have made your 41 chains, what we are next going to do is block off with our thumb at the end here of that 41st chain and chain 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to be making double crochets. So we're going to yarn over, and in that chain that you blocked off, we want to insert our hook into that chain, grab our working yarn, pull up a loop, and we have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over our crochet hook, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2 again. And then in that very same stitch, we're going to do 2 more double crochets. So there's 1 and then 1 more. And then on every other chain, or every chain now, we will be doing a double crochet, and then stop when you get to the second chain from the last. Okay, so once you have 1 chain remaining, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be double crocheting 5 double crochets in this last chain. So 5 double crochets all in this very last chain. So there's our last chain. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. There's 1. Do it again. And again, 3. Four. And last one. And then, so just keep doing double crochets all the way to the end on the opposite side. And I'll meet you at the end. And I just wanted to show you guys, as you're working on the opposite side of the chain, you'll notice that there's like a crisscross there. That's what you want to go into and do your double crochet all the way to the end. It can be sometimes tricky to see, so just make sure that you just get in right under there. And you'll find that it's opposite another double crochet on the other side. Okay, so we've reached the end here, and in this last stitch here that is opposite these 3 double crochets that we did in one, we want to do 2 double crochets in this last back stitch here. So just gonna put 2 right in there. There's 1 and 2. All right, and then now, so we chained 1, 2, 3. So at the top of that first double crochet that we made, we're going to do a slip stitch. So what I mean by that is we're just going to go at the very top of that first double crochet that we made, and we're going to just grab our yarn, pull through there, and pull through the yarn on our hook. Okay, so this is what you have so far. This is what it should look like. So essentially you have both sides of your bag, the bottom of your bag. So now we are going to chain 3, all right, there's our 3, and in that same spot that we slip stitched, we want to put 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Okay. Okay, so from where you put those 2 double crochet stitches in the same stitch, on the 44th stitch, so start with the next stitch and count to the 44th stitch. You can either mark it with a stitch marker or just on your 44th stitch stop, and I'll meet you when I get to that point and tell you what to do next. Okay, so I've reached that 44th stitch, and I'm just going to be putting 3 double crochets in that same stitch. So here's my first one. My second one. And my third. Okay, so once you have your 3 double crochets in that stitch, just keep going around and I'll meet you when you get to the second to last stitch before we end that round. Okay, so I have reached to my second to the last stitch here. It's kind of hard to tell when you're just starting out, but when you're joining, it won't be an actual stitch. This one is your last stitch. This is joining your rows together. So when you're first starting out, you'll want to maybe use a stitch marker or a spare piece of yarn or something to mark that joining slip stitch so you don't confuse it and keep adding stitches. But here we are on our very last stitch. We're going to be putting 2 double crochets in there. There's 1. And 2. Okay, so we're going to be joining this row again. So at the top, so this is our chain, 1, 2, 3, and this one is our actual first double crochet. So at the top of that, the stitches on top of that, we want to join, slip stitch. So just insert our hook, grab our yarn, pull it through, and pull it through the loop that's on our hook. And there's that row. So that you know, just put like a stitch marker or a piece of yarn or something right in there so that you can keep track of which one is the slip stitch and which one is an actual stitch. And then we're going to chain 3 and make sure we double crochet right into that space where we put the slip stitch in. You always want to start off with that first double crochet in that same spot that we put our slip stitch in, and just keep double crocheting all the way around until you reach the height that you want your bag to be. So keep doing double crochets all the way around and slip stitching at the end of each round, chaining 3 and starting your double crochets in that same spot that you slip stitched, that same stitch that you slip stitched, to keep the same amount of stitches, to keep it even and you're not adding or decreasing any stitches. So in total, the amount of stitches that you want to have going all the way around your bag is going to be 92. So once you get to the height that you want for your bag, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold it where the sides kind of naturally fold. And what I like to do is I like to put markers where I want the beginnings of my handles to be. So they're going to be like this, go around like this. So I put them on one side here and I put them on this side and I make them line up so that when we are done with it, the handles will line up nicely. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to single crochet up to our first stitch marker once you figure out where you want to put your handles. And I like to put them like towards the center. And we're going to single crochet up to our first stitch marker. So I just finished that round and I'm going to chain 1 and put a single crochet in that same stitch that I slip stitched. And just single crochet all the way to my first stitch marker. Bobby pin really. Okay, so I have reached my stitch marker, and next what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a single crochet in that stitch with the marker, and then we're just going to chain the amount of chains that we want for our handle. If you want like a smaller handle, you can just do the amount of stitches that you will be skipping. So in this case it would be 23, but I think I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than that. Okay, so I went with a chain of 30. And when you're making this chain, also I would just recommend making your chains a little bit on the looser side, because we're gonna be putting stitches right in those chains, right underneath that little back loop there. And you want to be able to get in there easily. So if they're too tight, that might be a little bit of a challenge and very time consuming. So once you have the length of the handle, so in my case I chained 30, we are going to attach it to our next stitch marker. And we're just going to single crochet right in there to attach it. And then we're going to keep working along up to our next stitch marker, chain however many you want to make your handle, however long you want to make your handle and attach it to the other stitch marker. And then finish the round. So I'll just meet you over at that next stitch marker. All right, I've made it to the next stitch marker. We're gonna do the same thing. We're just going to single crochet right where we have the marker. And then make a chain of however long your first one was, and in my case, mine is 30. So I'll just make a chain of 30. All right, and once you have your 30 stitches, you next want to attach it to your stitch with the next stitch marker. And just attach it with a single crochet. And complete that round. So we're just going to single crochet, all right, so once you get to the end of your round, you're just going to slip stitch like normal and chain 1, and remember to always start with putting your first stitch in that spot where you slip stitched, and just single crochet until you get to the beginning of your handle. Okay, so I'm at this first handle, and I'm just gonna do that stitch there. And then we just want to single crochet in every one of these chains. So that's why I said it's kind of a good idea to keep these chains a little bit on the loose side so that you can easily get in there. You want to get right in that spot there. Here, let me just show you. So that's what your chain looks like, and you want to get right in there under that little loop there. And you want to do that for every chain that you made. And just do that all the way around on this handle and on the next one. We're going to do rounds of single crochet up to however long really that you want, or however wide you want your handle to be. That's really up to you. But we're just gonna keep going around. I probably will maybe do, I think 3 rounds. When I get to that point, I'll take a look and see how the handles look. Okay, and then, so I ended up doing 4 rows all the way around, and then when I was done, I just made sure that I did my last slip stitch, cut off a long tail, and then weaved in my ends. You should have a tail over here and a tail at the bottom also here, and just make sure you weave those in really nicely, and when you need to cut the end off after weaving, you cut it off on the inside of the bag. And that's it. That's my bag tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed, and please subscribe and like this video. Also, don't forget to check out my website, stitchandtimecrochet.com, for more great articles and tutorials. Thanks, guys.